Do you feel like you are chasing time? Do you feel like you are running after time? Or are you running after time instead of running your time? One of the major causes of stress in leadership or stress as you're doing your work is fatigue. When you get tired, you begin to feel overstretched, you begin to feel overwhelmed, and that can bring on stress. And one of the causes of fatigue is poor time management. This video is about that, asking the question, how are you managing your time? Dear team leader, dear creative founder, how are you managing your time? I'm going to talk about both work time and rest time because as I have discussed before, or as we all know, rest is a part of work. You work and you rest. If you don't rest, you cannot work. If you don't rest, it's very hard for you to be effective, to be efficient, to be able to do good work. So I'm going to talk about both things. I'm going to cover about 4 topics regarding working hours, how you manage them, regarding leave, how you manage your leave, regarding rest and sleep, because that is very important, and then your timetable. What is it that you're doing with your time at work? So I'll start with the rest part of the work. Working hours, that's number 1. How are you managing your working hours? That is the time that has been defined in your job description or at your organization or at your company, or that you have defined for yourself that I work between this time and this time. How are you managing those working hours? Do you clock in and do you clock out? Or are you one of these people who takes work home? If you're supposed to work from 9 to 5, or you work from 8 to 4, at 4 you clock out, but you take work home. Is that how you're managing your working hours? It is important for us to do our work within the time allocated for the work, the time that we are paid to do the work, and also the time that we are given to do the work, because there's a reason why you're working from 9 to 5. You need the rest of the time for rest. So number 1 is to teach yourself how to manage your working hours and to honor them. Arrive on time, leave on time, and when you clock out, please clock out. Leave work at home. Now, this might be a little bit hard for the creative founders because many of us, I'm one of them also, many of us are entrepreneurs, many of us are doing this thing that we are passionate about. We love what it is that we are doing. So the mind is always coming up with ideas, coming up with different solutions. You find that at times you're working 24 hours a day or for as long as you're awake, because even when you walk away from your computer, you're lying in bed, but you're still solving problems, thinking about what you can do better, thinking about what you can change. So for the creative founders, for the entrepreneurs, you need to train your mind to switch off from work. What I usually tell the people who I work with, the creative founders or entrepreneurs, the ones who don't have a fixed working time or fixed working hours, is to create a clock out ritual. You know what happens when you're formally employed is you get up from your desk, you walk out of the office, you say bye to everyone, you go and get into your car or get into the transportation and you leave and go home. That is a whole ritual for your mind to disengage from work. But for the creative founder, at times you're working from home. So it's like your bed is there, your computer is here, you don't switch off. So create a ritual for you to know, or for your mind to know, that work has ended. What I typically do for me, because this is something that I struggled with for the first couple of years, never ever resting, the mind never ever resting. I define my working hours, and when the time comes for me to clock out, I walk away from my laptop. I get up, walk away from my laptop, and do something totally different. I either get out and take a walk, or I start to prepare my supper. I do something to help my mind know that work has ended. And because I created that ritual for myself, now my mind knows. My mind actually knows that work has ended and we need to switch off. We are now going into rest mode. So for the creative founders and for the entrepreneurs, create a ritual for yourself. For the team leaders, please, 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 honor your working hours. Leave work at work. Do not be calling your team members outside working hours to find out about work. And if you find that you are continuously doing work outside working hours, you're not doing this once in a while, because at times it's unavoidable. But if it's like it has become normal for you to keep working past working hours for 4 extra hours, then it's time for you to check how you're managing your time. It's time for you to check your workload. It's time for you to check your job description and to understand what exactly is going on. So manage your working hours. Ask yourself, how am I managing my working hours? The second thing is leave. I'm first talking about rest. Are you taking your annual leave? Or when is the last time that you took your annual leave? At times we can ignore this because we feel like we want to work. We don't want to take a rest because at times resting can be very stressful for us. But you need time to unplug from work. You need time for your whole being, your whole body, your mind, your thoughts, everything to unplug from work, because work continuously doing the same thing can actually fatigue you. And if you don't take leave, you will begin to experience diminishing returns, or you'll begin to, your effectiveness or efficiency will begin to diminish. You continue working, but it's like your output begins to go down. The other thing is you actually do need the rest. This body of ours needs time to unplug from waking up early, from the routine, waking up early, going and meeting these people, having the stress of meetings and deliverables and all that stuff. The body needs time to rest. The mind needs time to rest. You need time to take a breather. So if you are not taking your annual leave, please schedule it, honor it, take time to rest from work, from the whole experience of getting up, going to work, working, and coming back home. To just change that for yourself. It will refresh your mind and it will refresh your whole body. So please manage your leave time. The third thing is rest and sleep. Are you sleeping enough? Because you also need to manage your sleep. There is this myth, and I call it a myth because I think books have even been written about how some people just need 4 hours of sleep for them to function. I used to be that type of person. I actually said that about myself. But I've come to realize that humans need sleep. You need 8 hours at least, or something going towards that. 4 hours of sleep is not enough. When I finally started measuring my sleep, I got an app and I began to observe my sleep. That's when I noticed that I was actually sleeping little, and that's when I realized that things that were causing me to sleep little. And now I actually sleep for longer and I enjoy my sleep and I wake up refreshed. I rarely sleep during the day because it's like my mind is alert. My mind has rested. You need sleep for your mind to also rest, for your eyes to also rest, for your digestive system to rest, for the whole body to rest. You need enough sleep. As I said, you need to honor this body that you use to move around the earth, because if you don't honor it, then it will fall sick and you will leave us. You will actually leave us. So please, please, please honor the time that you have for rest. Honor the time that you have for sleep, and please sleep enough. The 4-hour myth is a myth. Human beings need sleep. And when I talk about rest, this one is now another thing. Do not multitask your rest. I am resting and doing chores. Actually set aside time for yourself to really rest every week. If you can do it also every day, at least an hour or 30 minutes just for yourself. Personally, on Sunday, I take time off and I rest from everything. I rest from even speaking. I do not talk. I do not talk on Sunday. I take like a talk fast because I talk a lot during the week. So Sunday is me time. Sunday is quiet time. Sunday is time for me to totally unplug from everything and rest. And every time when I come back into the week, Monday, Tuesday, I am a different person. It's like I've totally flipped. I've totally turned the page. I'm not still stuck in the past week. So honor the time that you have for rest. Manage your rest time, manage your sleep time, and protect it. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is actually how we are managing our time. Time management. How are you actually managing the time that you have to do the work? Now, one of the things that I found was a little bit of a trick was how to organize the tasks, the many tasks and the many projects that we need to do. Now, before I had been writing down, creating to-do lists of things that I want to do. That is being organized, creating to-do lists. But then I found that there are things that I never ever got to do. I would have a list of like 30 things. And of course, you can't do 30 things. You don't know when you're going to do them. So the to-do list was me trying to be organized or me trying to manage my time, but it was not effective enough. Then someone told me about this thing where you pick the 3 must-do activities, the things that you must do either this week or that you must do in a given day. So it's like you look at your list and you prioritize, I must do 1, 7, and 21. So I tried that out also. But then what I found was there were activities that I would never pick on a given day or during a given week to say that this is the priority for this week. Because while they needed to be done, they would never be a short-term priority. They were a long-term priority. And in the end, after 6 months, you'd find you haven't done this activity and something has suffered because you were not able to prioritize it from the to-do list. So what I discovered, or rediscovered actually, last year was the timetable. Is actually defining the tasks that you want to do and then allocating them a particular time slot in a timetable. So that's what I do right now, and that has really helped me to actually do the things that I need to do. So I know the projects that I have. It even helped me to not come up with tasks that are unnecessary or that are just imaginary, that will never ever get done. The tasks that I would say are actually like almost like useless tasks. So I define my projects and then I define the tasks that need to be done. I actually even have like a timeline because I have like the timeline for the month, I have the timeline for like the 6 months, I have a timeline for the year, and then every week I have tasks that I have to do that week, and I actually get a time slot and slot them. This task is going to be done between 10 and 12. When I have my sessions, I have them actually in that timetable. Yes, they are booked online, but I usually have like a paper page because I use a book. I prefer to use paper. Some of us are old school. And I actually slot my tasks into a timetable. I can actually see it. And this has been very, very helpful for me in accomplishing tasks, in getting things done, in making sure that what's important to me is actually done. I think one of the things that I actually even started doing was calls that I needed to make, because I was finding that I needed to make calls. I'd made a mental note that I needed to make the call. The call was on my to-do list, but because I never ever gave it a particular time on a certain day, I never ever made the call. So when I need to make important calls, I also slot them into a given day and a given time, and it just removes that burden from me. This can be very helpful for you, to help you, one, do tasks, to also help you know what is possible, because when you have filled out your timetable and then you know that I only have 4 free hours this whole week, so if something comes up, you can say, I'm sorry, I cannot do that, because your time is blocked off. It also helps me to kind of create a space between my tasks, because I don't just work continuously. I have like a buffer time between tasks for me to actually take a walk and come back and continue with the tasks. So this is something that I would encourage you to do. Find a way for you to visualize your tasks, to visualize your time, and to put the tasks visually. Place the tasks in a given time slot so that you know what you're doing when. The main thing here is for you to visualize so that you can see how much time you have, what you're doing when, how much time you have available, what is possible for you to do, and what is not possible for you to do. And this has helped me to really run my time, to really manage my time. I am no longer stressed chasing tasks or chasing time. My life flows very, very easily. I have my time allocated for rest. I have my time allocated for study. I have my time allocated for content. I have my time allocated for lunch. I have my time allocated for sessions, and I can see what is happening when. So my days are relaxed. My weeks are relaxed. I am rarely, actually, I don't know when I was last in a frenzy or a rush, because I have space. I manage my time. I run my time. So if you're a person who is feeling like you are chasing time, who is feeling like you're running after time, these might be some of the things that you'd like to look into: how you're managing your working hours, how you're managing your leave, how you're managing your rest and sleep, and how you're actually managing the time available for you to do your work. If this is an area that you've struggled with, don't be afraid to reach out. Reach out. There will be a link in the comments or the link in the description of the video. Reach out for a free one-on-one. It's a 15-minute call, and we just have a chat and see how you can get supported with this.